In 2022, something happened that sent shockwaves through the gaming world. Square Enix, one of Japan's most legendary publishers, sold off some of their Western studios for only $300 million. Analysts called it a head scratcher, a number so low it looked like a fire sale. But this wasn't just a business move. This was a retreat, a strategic withdrawal, a sign that one of Japan's biggest companies no longer believed in Western AAA industry, and that it wasn't healthy. And the more we look at the last decade of Western gaming, the more that decision makes sense. Something hasn't just declined, it's been dying. Not the tech, not the talent, but the soul. And today we're exploring why Japan, and more broadly Eastern studios, are pulling away from the Western developmental scene altogether, and what it says about the failures of modern AAA gaming. Because last week, Square Enix announced they are laying off their Western studios to focus on development more in Japan. This collapse didn't happen overnight, but the pattern became impossible to ignore. Western AAA studios shifted from making games to producing content, giant open worlds, cinematic trailers, and endless checklists. We kept saying that we're bored. We've seen this before. This feels like slap. But publishers doubled down. Meanwhile, development costs exploded. Instead of tightening focus, studios chased trends, photorealism, forced cinematic storytelling, and eventually, we know this one all too well, the infamous live service model. They saw Fortnite, Genshin, Warzone, and decided that's what every game needed. A battle pass, a store, seasonal content, and your constant drip-fed engagement loops. The question shifted from, is this fun, to how do we keep them spending? The results? Well, we all recognize these games. Redfall, Suicide Squad, Skull and Bones, and Ubisoft's big bet, Star Wars Outlaws, which underperformed so hard their stock hit a 10-year low. This wasn't bad luck. It was the inevitable outcome of treating games as products, not experiences. Inside many Western studios, creative culture has been replaced by corporate culture. Layers of oversight, brand safety boards, executives terrified of PR risk. Developers describe initiative overload. Meetings are about messages, not mechanics. DEI programs originally meant to improve the workplace became in some studios about corporate image, not better games. Characters began to feel engineered rather than written. Stories felt sanitized. Worlds lacked charm and authenticity. The problem wasn't diversity. The problems were the mandates replacing creativity and metrics replacing passion. Developers openly said they're no longer serving players. They're serving spreadsheets, focus groups, and brand protection teams. You can't fake heart with that checklist. Let's address the elephant in the room. Gamers didn't start using the word woke because of representation. They used it because characters and stories began to feel preachy, one-dimensional, and message first. The dialogue shifted, narrative priorities shifted. Suddenly, the game wasn't the focus, the statement was. Meanwhile, our gameplay suffered. There began to become floaty combat, formulaic worlds, grindy progression you see in almost every live service game. Lots of technical issues and day one patches that sometimes are bigger than the game itself. And when we complained, we were told the fans are the problem. It's just toxic gamers. They'll buy it anyways. I mean, do you guys remember the Borderlands CEO, Randy Pitchford, who blamed us for our problems with how buggy the game was? That we were having issues, like as if you just didn't consider us whatsoever? Except they didn't. Franchises started collapsing, budgets were exploding, and studios began shutting down. The Western AAA system was breaking under its own weight. Developers inside these studios knew what was happening. Ubisoft became the poster child. Creatives left because they were underpaid, creatively restricted, or plain bored. And honestly, thank you, Ubisoft. You guys really nailed the gun on that one. I mean, I'm happy you guys did that because Guillaume Brush left Ubisoft to find Sandfall Interactive, and his new studio created Expedition 33, one of the strongest games of the years, and honestly, it's my game of the year. He said, getting a new idea approved at a massive Western company felt like it might take 25 years. That's how suffocating the system became. This is happening everywhere though. Developers want to make art, but the publishers want to make content. This problem extends beyond studios. It affects creators too. A shout out to YouTuber named Legendary Drops. They recently confirmed what many suspected: Western publishers gate access. If you don't play nice, soften your criticism, or follow their PR tone, you're out. North American companies literally said, "We'd like to work with him, but what will our friends think?" Meanwhile, Eastern studios welcome him because they want the honest feedback. They invite real criticism. They want to treat him as a partner, not a risk. If you know Drops, you know he's one of the few creators who still speaks like a gamer, not a PR spokesperson.
Change our perspective on who actually plays games. These guys have been running the entire gambit. Now all of a sudden, Ubisoft is one of the greatest developers of all time. The Hogwarts Legacy boycott was a success, and oh, by the way, 50%, more than 50% of players are actually women today, which doesn't make any sense to me because only 5% of the people subscribed to this channel are women, which is actually a pretty high number. It must be the hair.
He'll call out studios when they mess up, but he'll also just as quickly praise them for actually listening and putting the players first. He's fair, honest, passionate, and ironically, that's exactly why Western publishers don't want anything to do with him. Western studios are stuck in a mindset obsessed with image control and safe messaging, while Eastern studios are embracing that transparency and treating creators as partners, not risks. Legendary Drops didn't choose sides. The industry made that choice for him, and the way the West ignores voices like his is the same reason their live service strategy keeps failing. They don't listen. They don't adapt. They're scared of honesty. If you want to check out Legendary Drops yourself, I will link his channel in the description. I highly recommend watching him, as his videos are professional and probably resonate with a lot of you watching, just like I myself. So here's the biggest contrast. While the West is chasing trends, Japan and other Eastern studios are simply making good games. Their philosophy starts with one question: how is it played? Gameplay loops come first. Creative vision comes from directors, not committees. Cultural identity isn't sanitized for global focus groups. And look at the results. I mean, Elden Ring, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, and Wuchang Fallen Feathers. These aren't just good games, they're player-first games. Eastern studios understand something Western companies forgot. Fun is universal. Politics are not. Passion is universal. PR certainly has no place in here. So why did Square Enix sell its Western studios? Why did NetEase shut down American and Canadian teams? And why are Eastern publishers pulling out entirely? Because they saw the Western development culture become a creativity graveyard. I mean, bloated budgets, slow pipelines, political interference, committee-driven design, constant PR fear, no identity, and something I believe companies should take is risks. But there's none of that here. They didn't leave because they failed. They left because the system is failing. Now, the consequences are here as well. I mean, the mass layoffs, studio closures, franchise fatigue. I mean, the player trust is at an all-time low. Live services are failing. We all saw Concord and how it failed. 200 million budgets right down the drain within just 2 weeks of it releasing. Meanwhile, smaller studios and Eastern developers are thriving by doing the simplest thing imaginable: putting players first. Not shareholders, not social media, not brand image. Gamers, us, the ones who play their games. The retreat of companies like Square Enix isn't an isolated event, it's a damning verdict on the state of the Western AAA industry. The sale of its major Western studios wasn't just about offloading underperforming assets, it was a part of a strategic pivot to focus on their core strengths in Japanese development. They looked at the bloated budgets, the broken culture, and risk-averse pipelines, and they chose to get out. Their actions exposed a failed model for the whole world to see. The past few years have been a painful but yet necessary reset. We've seen thousands of talented developers lose their jobs, and beloved franchises stagnate under corporate mismanagement. But through all the wreckage, a clear message is emerging. It's a message sent by Eastern companies voting with their investment dollars, and more importantly, by players voting with their wallets. Gamers, us, we are sick of being sold broken products. I'm sick of being nickel and dimed. And we're just sick of soulless, checklist-driven games that feel more like a product rather than a passion project. Players are flocking into games that offer identity, art, and above all, respect, because you don't get a lot of that anymore. They are supporting developers, whether from Japan, China, or passionate Western indies, who treat them like players. not like problems to be monetized. The success of Eastern developers isn't a mystery. They're succeeding because they're building the games we've been begging for all along. The future of this industry won't be decided in boardrooms, but by the players themselves. And right now, players are making their choice crystal clear. Players will follow. We don't want lectures. We don't want corporate agendas. And we most certainly don't want to be treated like ATMs. We want games with soul. The East never forgot that. But the West needs to remember it. I mean, because at the end of the day, we just want to play games that are fun. I just want to come home from my 9 to 5 and just be happy. Enjoy what I'm doing. I don't want to just sit down and play a half-baked game. It's not worth it. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the West and how it's failed gaming, then you might like this breakdown about Nintendo's recent patent problems and what it could mean for Pocket Pair. Without further ado, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, so you can keep up with the news in the gaming industry. And with that, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.